Next guest says the travel boom does not mean China is fully reopened or back, and that 2023 could be a struggle of a year for the world's second largest economy. For more, let's bring in Dennis Unkovic, partner at Meyer, Unkovic & Scott, and a longtime expert on China. Dennis, welcome back. Is there the possibility, under the relaxed COVID plans of Xi Jinping, that this Chinese New Year could be a super spreader event that could hobble the Chinese economy?
I believe it is a super spreader event. If you take New Year's, Easter, Hanukkah, Labor Day, put them all together, this is the biggest time in which the Chinese get together as a family. And I think you're going to see essentially between 400 and 600 million Chinese go throughout the country. This looks a lot like it did in the year 2000 when COVID started in Wuhan. And so I'm really very worried about the fact that so many of these projections that you're putting up there saying China's back, everything's healthy, don't worry. Because when you look at the statistics, I'm concerned. Well,
can you believe the statistics, number one, on COVID? Can you believe the case counts that the Chinese are putting out? They said they had no deaths or 500 deaths or 50 deaths or whatever it was. And now they're saying that in the first month of the reopening or the ending of the zero COVID policy, they had 60,000. Can we even believe that?
Well, I saw the same statistics, like 59,938, but there are some independent folks out there who were saying that the number of deaths in this period was 600,000, or about 10 times as much. The problem with the Chinese is you never know whether the statistics are correct. There isn't a lot of transparency there. And that's always been a problem. Years ago, when China, Xi Jinping said, we want China to grow between 6 and 8% per year. When you went down to the provinces at the end of the year, they always grew 6 to 8%. So frankly, I don't believe what I see. I don't know if they're wrong, but usually the Chinese want to put a very good gloss on this. If I could say one thing that I think is interesting,
sure.
The Guardian newspaper a couple of days ago came out and said in an interesting article that the government in China is now supporting positive news on COVID in the new year, and that they're going to suppress what are called gloomy sentiments. And again, I really just want to know the facts. And I'm concerned about the fact that the Chinese are not very transparent.
We just want to know the facts. This has been going on for years now. Dennis, I don't know if you caught Stephen Roach last hour. Obviously he's been following and in China for years. He said he's been more concerned about it than he's been in 25 years, really, of following developments there, and largely because of the demographic issue. And if that's the case, do you think that's motivating some of these sort of flip-flops on COVID policy, where the leadership is just sensing they really need to generate GDP growth, even at the cost of this policy?
China grew last year at their figures at 3%. I think it was less. They projected in 2022 that it was going to be 5.5%. And so it's like a daisy. It's sort of like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. You keep repeating again and again. Well, they really have to jump start the Chinese economy. And this is one of the ways they're going to do it. And I think they don't seem to really care how many people who are sick or will be affected.
So let's cut to the bottom line, Dennis, and in terms of investability in China. We began the segment by talking about people seeing promise in some of the companies in China, some of the funds, some of the ETFs. Are you saying basically that you just don't believe it, it's BS, and you should stay away from China? If I was a retail investor in Delray, Florida.
Tyler, when I don't see facts that I can depend a decision on, I step back. And so my answer to you is no, I don't think I'd be a big investor in China now. The earlier person right before me talked about how the growth in Apple is going to go from 5 to 25% in India. That's what major companies are doing around the world. They're not leaving China in droves, but they're saying, am I going to make a major investment there? Is this going to be my future? I think the answer is probably not.
All right, Dennis Unkovic, thank you very much. As always, good to see you. Thank you, my friend. Kelly.
Thank you both.
And that's two major figures now telling us they're concerned about China just in the last hour or so.